So we have HTML file here, and it's including this JS file, which, as you can see in this view, looks perfectly fine. However, if we open up the HTML file, okay, so everything looks good here, but if you inspect, or however you want to get to it, I just end up with this inspect. Look, and it has invalid or unexpected token, which, like, okay, I don't remember my JavaScript like from scratch very well, but okay, so what? And so obviously this is an encoding issue. Um, there's some interesting details behind it, but so we're going to try a couple, hopefully one workaround, but we shall see if I need another one. Okay, so let's just add an opening new line to it. And let's see what happens when I do that. It's still not working. Okay, so another option is if we go into the actual, go into like Notepad. So let's open it. Let's open up Pizza Calc in Notepad. All right, so now let's just modify it and force it to save. Okay, now I'll move that out of the way. Let's see what happens when we reload now. It's a little frustrating. Still coming up with the issue. Okay, so let's go back to the Notepad and comment. Add something meaningful here, and then let's try again to reload the page. And it's pretty insistent. Okay, so the one thing we could possibly do, so there's a bug called there's a bug in isText Unicode, which improperly flags something as Unicode, which Windows believes is UTF-8 or UTF-16 Little Endian, which I've had some adventures with recently. Otherwise, okay. So if I save it as UTF-16-LE, see what Windows thinks it is now. Aha. So that works. And we do actually get the onloading alert function now. Now, what happens with the VS Code? So if we reopen VS Code and we look at Pizza Calc, and you'll see now the encoding is UTF-16-LE. So I think there's a way in here as well. Yeah, so okay, so what you can actually do is you can click on the actual encoding down here in the lower bar, and then save with encoding, and let's change it back to UTF-8. Okay, so changing it back to UTF-8, there are a couple options on saving in UTF-8. One of which doesn't clearly identify it as UTF-8, and so now you notice we have the syntax error back. And if we go back to this, okay, so we're thinking that it's a combination of Chinese and some other characters now. Okay, so if we go back here and we switch it to, say, save with encoding with byte order marker, the BOM is byte order mark, we should now, okay, so pause and debugger, and the reason why it's pause and debugger is because I put a pop-up in that. Okay, so if you go back to save with encoding, so depending on what application you're using, you might get a UTF-8. You might have it saved as one of these other encodings. I think this 1252 also will trigger the issue. Right. Okay. So we don't even have to look, but yeah. So we're back to having the problem. Okay. So if we change it back to either, so the main resolutions in VS Code are, you can use save as UTF-8 with byte order mark, or you can use UTF-16LE, which is the default Unicode encoding for Windows. Okay, so we get the pop-up because the JavaScript is executing now.